Hey YouTube, I wanted to do a product review today on this new ROM board that I got for my PC. And ROM stands for, I wrote this down so I wouldn't get tongue tied. Random Access Memory. That has to do with the memory inside your computer, certain parts of the memory. And it's by ATEC, okay? And ATEC, hey Lacey, ATEC is very good. I just put this in the other day when I attempted to do that hard drive video. And I am so sorry that I had to mail that hard drive back at 8 at freaking hard drive at NeedTech was dead as a doornail. Okay. I plugged it my SATA port down here underneath my work table. It didn't show up one thing, not one thing on the file folder. So I knew then it was dead. I had a good one down here in my box and SP I did a review on. I put Lacey's computer at one time and stuff. Cotton Candy says, hey daddy, hey baby girl. And what I was gonna let you guys know, when you choose your ROM board card for your PC, all right, it doesn't really matter what gigabyte you use much. Now you gotta have to make sure it's a DDR3, DDR4, DDR5 is the newest. Mine's a DDR4. Okay, now here's where it's real gonna be a shit kicker. When they go into megahertz, okay? And if you don't know the megahertz of your PC, make sure you Google your model number, make a model of your PC, all right? Because mine's an Intel Silver Pentium processor, all right? And it can only handle up to a 2400 megahertz. So like if let's say they made it 2300, I could stick that in, or 24. Nothing over 24, and here's why. It could do one or two things. It could burn your motherboard out or mess up your processor chip, or both. So yeah, it would do that for sure. But make sure you look at your megahertz. So like if you had a 2666 megahertz and it only called 100 or 2400, you can't stick the highest one in or it can burn it. It could be lower or within that spec. Okay. So yeah. And they have to be, another thing I have to look at too is the voltage. It's a 1.2 volt.
Is
Nope, they're using her screen name too. I'm getting them hit now.
I just reported.
Yeah. But yeah, legally speaking, and this has a lifetime warranty, okay? And lifetime doesn't mean if you damage it or install it wrong, it's going to cover. That only means, okay, it's not like a Craftsmatory, snap it on purpose or on a car and take it back to your local Lowe's, or if you had a Sears there or wherever they're sold. That means only defects in material and workmanship. If it fails, if something was done in a factory in an error. Now, this ATEC team, I'm pretty sure, is in Columbus, Ohio, because soon as they got the order that day, it was shipped, bang, by the next day I had it within a day. But I do recommend ATEC. Now, this is the one that come out of another, this is the one that come out of this PC, okay? And this was a Samsung, okay? And all you do is there's metal tabs on the side. You just pull them out, and it lifts up, and you slide it out, stick it back in, and lock it down between those tabs. Now, another thing you're going to have to worry about, how many pins you got. They're going to be a 240 pin, 260. Mine's a a 260 pin. Okay, so you have to worry about the pin sizes too. If it's way long or way thick, the thicker ones are usually for desktop. Okay, so there's a lot to consider about putting a new RAM in yours. You just can't select and go and think you're going to get it. They don't work like that. But these ATECs are darn good. Would I order any more of them from the company? Yes. Now, here's another thing too, guys. You have to worry about with RAM. You have to know your pin size, how many pins you got. Like I said, the megahertz and what DDR number it is. Okay. Remember, it's your processor does most of your speed. The highest processor right there right now built is iCore 9. But you don't want me to tell you the price of an iCore 9 because you might fall over off the bed, off the chair, whatever, sitting in dead.
I don't want no.
iCore 9, sometimes on eBay I found it for a little over 200, but a brand new one, even at your big box stores like Best Buy and Empress, would run you between $300 to $400 for one chip. One chip, $300 to $400 for an iCore 9. The higher the processor you got, the faster and more reliable your computer is. Mostly those iCore 9s, or if you want to upgrade yours, some computers can't be upgraded. Now I put the same chip back in this if it ever went bad, like the motherboard. But I'm not a hardcore gamer, not like I don't just use my computer for movies, whatever. So my Intel Silver Pentium processor chip will be just fine. The ones with the higher end computers, like gaming laptops, desk laptops, or desktops, or laptops, whatever, those are the ones that probably have the iCore 9 because they're gaming computers.
I just recall now question.
But now, like and I'll show you what I mean here on eBay once I bring it up. Okay. Now there is different, and I found out my PC, from what I knew, cannot be converted to a 2.5 SATA like Lacey's. It's an M2 board. Now there's different style M2s. Okay, bunch of different ones. There's a single slot, dual slot, square, bunch of them. Like right here, for instance. That's one kind. There's the second kind. There's the third kind. Okay. Like Lacey's had a single slotted M2 board. I couldn't put it in mine. It's only for a dual slot. So I'll show you the kind I'm getting from me. Let me blow it up there. This is a SATA SDD1, which is solid state. But see, right there's a dual slot. I know it's got that funny name on it, but that's more compatible for all Windows, like 8, 10, 11, stuff like that. Okay. And the size of it is 2280. It's an M2 2280 SATA 3. Okay, solid state. Let me see here. Now there is a single slot. Let me see if this is the one I'm looking at. See, right there is all different kinds of boards. They look like just sticks of RAM. So you have to know the size that's in here. Some are 2280s, some are 2260s. Let me see if this one has it. All right. I can tell you the interface. The square ones are M SATAs. Then there's M2 2242, M2 2260/2280. There's PCIe 2230, PCIe 2242. Then there's for MacBook, that's an A1466. I have another one for MacBook Pro 8 or A. It's an Apple 1708. And here's like a larger one, see. So you have to know exactly which one is inside your PC. But, you know, when I took that out the other day and showed you when I tried to put the 2.5 SATA drive in, it was a dual slot. Okay. Lacey's is a single slot. I mean, right here, hers wasn't even fit. That was Lacey's out of her. See, it's a single slot. It has to have a slot here and one over on the other end to go into the port of it. Okay. And that's a 2280. This computer is built with a 128 gig up to 256. I didn't hardly put a dent in the 256. I've been using external drives. I got 1 terabyte, 2 terabytes. The largest I got is a 4. The 4 I did put a dent in because it has a lot of pictures, files on it, movies. But I did that so I wouldn't use up much memory in my PC. So if you don't want to use much memory in your PC or put a dent in it, get an external drive, guys, please. I'm just going to go with the 500 gig. I mean, hell, Lacey's got a 1 tera in hers. I just installed that one time. Hers ain't even got a dent put in it. Not even one single dent. I mean, it's down low like mine. And of course, they have the 2.5 SATAs for laptops. Like right here, here's Samsung Evo 970. Okay. But this one would fit inside of Lacey's, but not in mine. Because mine has the dual slot. So really, it varies on what size stuff you got. So if I pick the like here's a dual slot. What that 2280 is, it's metric. Okay. It's measured in millimeters. So 2280 be 22 millimeter by 80 millimeter, which is the width and the length of the board. That's what I got to do is width and length. Now, if you don't know the width and the length of your board, I could give you a hint on what to use to determine that, but it would have inches on it and stuff. I'm getting tired of this, trolls. Yeah, I know I am too, babe. What you can use, don't get the constant needle on it. They're a little bit more harder to read. Get a digital one like I got. It's called a dial caliper. It has jaws on it. You spread it open all the way out, and it has numbers, a digital readout. Okay. Make sure it's calibrated to 0 for once. Make sure that damn thing's calibrated at M for metric, not inches, metric. Measure the width of the board and the length. It should come up 22 by 80. Okay. But that's how you measure the length of it. And look at your board to see if it's a two slot or single. Or if it's square, long square, if it's just like 2260 or 2280. That's the length and the width of that board to go into that hard drive head board, where you just slide it in the slots, and there's just one little set screw that just holds it down. Otherwise, it'll flop up in the air, and you don't want that. It can break it. So that's how you can measure your board. Now, if you don't know how many pins you got on these, if you have an old one laying around, that come out of your PC before you buy a new one, or you buy a new one, you can always measure it. Just put it up against. Okay. But 260 pins usually are standard. I've seen a few computers out there I've worked on in the past with a 240 pin. A lot of them's 260. But just find out for sure. Google your model of your PC so you don't buy the wrong freaking board. And either be too long, too short, or it's going to be too high of a megahertz and burn your board or your processor chip. There's a lot to consider when you just throwing these parts in. I mean, you just can't, oh, I got the best part in the faster. Mine's faster than yours. It ain't all about the speed you want, not unless you're a high-powered gamer. I'm not. Mine's just for movies, research stuff, so it's good enough for me. But yeah, A-Tech, I would recommend them. And there's a number on the back of it if you need help. It's 1-866-557-4527 right there. And give them a shout out. I mean, there's ADATA, A-Tech, Samsung, different ones. Could be HP ones. But give them a whirl, guys. Give them a whirl. But remember, the higher the gigabyte, the higher the RAM, the more you're going to spend. I've seen these little suckers run over $100. Believe it or not, $100. This was only $17.99 plus tax, less than 20 for about $20. But anyhow, guys, I'll talk to you later. Thanks for joining me on this RAM thing. And I told you kind of how to choose your hard drives as well. I just did my recovery drive the other day. I erased my recovery drive that I made. I made a brand new one off this PC where it was done off my old PC. It went down, and I'm using for parts. But yeah, that one there, I just redid it. So it's still for Windows 11. But anyhow, guys, you know how to choose your parts. You heard some great technical advice from your tech care. Thanks for sneezing, Lacey, on the outro video.
I'm sorry, my house is kicking off.
But you heard it from the tech. You heard it from the best. If you need any more advice, come to your number one tech support. But that drive was faulty. Blades melted out at Findlay Post Office yesterday. I got the Columbus flight last night. Left there. Went to Cincinnati. Left there. It's on its way back to Hebron, Kentucky. Once the seller gets it, checks it in, they're going to issue me a full refund. Once that refund is referred, I'll get that little M2 2280 board hard drive for this PC, the 512 gigabytes. That's all I really need. Because the higher the gig, the higher the tera, the more you're going to be spending. If you don't use a lot of memory, don't buy a lot of memory. It's just my advice. Okay. You can get by quite well with a 512, a little over 500 gig. You really have to be a hog if you're using a 1 tera. I mean, if you have a lot of files, movies, like I said, get an external. They ain't all that much. Okay, and you don't have to put an operating system in them. You just plug them in, format them, and go. I just like the regular hard drive that goes in your computer before you shut them down sometimes. Well, this one already come pre-formatted. That's why I didn't. But this new one I'm getting, I'm going to go ahead and format it. A lot of them go ahead and format before you install. And I'm going to check this one with my USB plug at them board to go in. I got a special plug that you go into the USB. I'm going to check to make sure it works and format before it goes inside of my PC. And hopefully this one will work. But talk to you later, guys. But like I said, subscribe to Lacey's video on mine. And I got some new phones coming in Monday. No, we're not getting our new Q-Link numbers or nothing. I just ordered them from eBay for our Q-Links phones. Because Q-Links wants a little bit too much for them. And they're really decent, nice phones. They're by that TV company called TCL. So that's the kind we're going to get. And what's neat about them, they got 3 cameras like these. But across the top here, they got 3. And then what's funny, they got 2 flashes to them. Dual flash. So once I get them tested out, I do a product review and the specs for you. But I'll talk to you guys later. Bye, guys.